today I'm going to be showing you how to make strawberry shortcake cheesecake jars. So I'm going to start by cooking some strawberries down. I'm using frozen strawberries because I almost always have those in the freezer, but you can definitely use fresh. It may take a little bit longer if you use frozen, so just keep that in mind. So I'm going to cook these until they soften. I'm going to add some lemon juice and a few tablespoons of sugar. But that's completely optional. There's plenty of sugar in the cake itself. How sweet your strawberries are also depends on just the strawberries you have. So here I am mashing my strawberries. You can also use an immersion blender to puree this, but I didn't want to clean that, so I just used my little pastry cutter to mash my strawberries. So once you get them to the consistency you like, which is pretty thick, so we're gonna let that cool, set it aside while we get going on the crumbles. See how nice and thick and just yummy that looks. So here I have, there's my baby. Here I have some flour, and to that I'm going to add some sugar and some salt. Salt is a flavor enhancer. It may seem weird to put it in desserts, but trust me, it tastes better that way. So now I'm going to add my vanilla to my butter. The fast hands had another idea, but I caught her just in time. So now we're going to add our butter and vanilla to our dry mixture. Stir that up really well to incorporate the butter into the dry ingredients. And what you're looking for is a crumble texture. Almost like what you put on top of an apple pie or apple crisp. So mine was a little on the dry side, so I'm just going to add about 2 teaspoons more of oil and mix that in. I suppose you could do this in a food processor. I don't know. That's like 5 extra dishes, so I just did it in a bowl with the spatula. So this is the texture I'm looking for. And I'm going to remove roughly half of the crumb mixture. The rest I'm going to add some strawberry gelatin. Mix that up. I suppose if you wanted to do this with dried strawberries, you could, but that would affect the sweetness, so you would have to tweak it. Now I'm going to add about a tablespoon of oil just to get that strawberry really stuck onto the vanilla crumb. And I'm going to spread this on a baking sheet. Now you don't have to flatten it out. I don't think it makes much of a difference, but I did. So you're gonna get the flattened version today. Doesn't matter, it gets crumbled at the end anyway. So here I'm going to start on my cake, and here is my flour. You can use all-purpose flour. I did use cake. Here's my baking powder and baking soda leaveners. There's some salt. I do use pink salt most of the time, so you can definitely see it in the bowl. And here is the sugar. So I'm just going to get those going for about 30 seconds to get them mixed well. You could also stir this with your spatula or whisk it with your hand whisk. But I'm using the mixer. Why not use the mixer to do this part? So now I'm going to add my stick of softened butter, cool room temp. If you have a thermometer that's around 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So now I'm going to prepare my wet ingredients. There's my strawberry extract. My pumpkin's gonna add my vanilla extract. She's gonna get it in there. Every last drop. That's a good girl. So now I'm gonna add my cooked strawberry reduction. And my sous chef is gonna add my oil. And we're gonna break that up. Give it a little mix. And now we're going to add it to half of it to our dry ingredients and get that going. About 2 minutes on about a 4 on your KitchenAid mixer. I have to experiment on my other mixer to see what speed it would be at. Here's our eggs. We're going to add the eggs to the remaining wet ingredients. Break up the eggs a little bit with the whisk or a fork. This was a little harder. I had to help her out. So now I'm going to slowly incorporate the egg mixture into the batter that's already going. I'm going to reduce my mixer speed. But first we're gonna add some pink food coloring to enhance the strawberryness of this cake. It doesn't affect the flavor, it just enhances the color. It's totally optional. You could also use a few drops of red, but I think I liked the pink pretty good. So now I'm going to add my egg and strawberry mixture to my batter. And you just go until this is incorporated, about 2 minutes. Scrape the bowl. You want to remember to scrape fairly often so that you don't have any ingredients compacted at the bottom around that little hump at the bottom of the mixer. You want to make sure everything's well mixed. So into my prepared pan this goes. Doesn't have to be any type of fancy pan because this cake is not going to be a layer cake. I'm going to cut it up into cubes and pieces to stuff into the jars. So use whatever pan you have. She's making sure I get it all out of the pan. I mean out of the bowl. And there she goes, helping me spread it. So now I'm going to make my cream cheese filling, and there is a pound of cold cream cheese that I'm going to mix. I know this is abnormal. Most recipes call for warm or room temp, but you really need to use cold in this instance. So we're going to mix my cream cheese until it's homogeneous. And add some vanilla. Vanilla is crucial to get that cheesecake flavor. Just mix that in. Now you don't want to go crazy with this and warm your cream cheese up. You just want to make it smooth enough so that everything mixes into it well. So here is my powdered sugar. And I suggest you start on low so you don't have a powdered sugar cloud in your face. And all over your kitchen. So there we go, it's mixed in. So now I'm going to add some softened butter. And let that go, and you're gonna see it come together as that butter cools down to the temperature of the cream cheese. It's gonna stiffen up just a little bit. There you go. Beautiful. Scrape my bowl. And I'm going to build the jars. I think I left out the part where I showed you the crumble, but this is easy. So you just stick your cake down in there and you put your little crumbles on there. You just break them up with your hand and sprinkle them on. You can do this in any order you would like. This is just the order I did. I didn't even do the same order for some of the other jars. Do what makes you happy. So I did put my cream cheese filling into this little piping bag so it'd make it a little bit easier to get into the jars. Here's my nice fresh chopped strawberry. Highly recommended. Optional, but highly recommended. And a little more cake. And we're going to repeat the layers. Now, depending on the size of your jar, you can repeat the layers however many times you like. I do suggest that if you are going to put a top on this jar, that you don't fill it to the top, because then it'll be impossible to close. You do want to leave like at least 1/4 of an inch at the top of the jar in order to be able to close it. But since I'm not closing these, I'm going to go crazy with my filling. And I put the little sliced strawberry garnish on top and some little crumbles, make it all nice and pretty. And as you can see in this one, I sliced the cake into little cubes. It's completely up to you. Just get it in there however you can. And there they are, as beautiful as can be and absolutely delicious. I love strawberry. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you soon.